What can I say about Viewtiful Joe? I grew up playing the game when I was younger and fully enjoy the game. It is an action beat 'em up by Capcom. You take the role of a character named Joe. He is at the movies with his girlfriend Sylvia. They are watching Joe's favorite movie, but Sylvia is more interested in Joe than the movie. After a small makeout session, the movie is about over and ends with Captain Blue, the hero, being defeated as a cliffhanger. The enemy then stretches out of the screen and grabs Sylvia. Joe gets sucked into the movie, and that's where it all begins. The mechanics may look familiar if you've played some recent games. The reason being is that the devs that created this game series is now Platinum Games, the creators of Bayonetta, and they seem to have a good relationship with Nintendo now. I was pretty eager to get to this game when I heard it came out on the GameCube RetroAchievements site, so this is my next game to master. With all that said, let's dive into how everything went. I have to start on adult mode as it's the highest difficulty to begin with. It's also how most of the achievements can be unlocked. Most achievements are adults or higher. Kids mode doesn't really cut it here. It's fine with me. The first achievement is a sparring match against Captain Blue. Beat him and get the achievement. Easy enough. Most of these achievements this run are going to be easy to obtain. It's just natural story progression. A few notable things about this run. But also, I will need to play through the game a total of 6 times to get everything. I make it to the end of the first part of the chapter and beat the helicopter, giving me the achievement, Rolling Thunder. In this second part of the chapter, the other notable part is coming across Captain Blue. Fight him and beat him to obtain another achievement. Finally, I make it to the end of the chapter and get all the VFX reels. Oh, I didn't mention it, but I do have to max out my VFX bar for each chapter. It's slightly annoying when you don't know where they're all at. Fortunately, I was able to get this in Chapter 1 though. Also, I fight Charles III, the first major boss, and take him out to get the Joe the Hero achievement. Getting through the cakewalk of adult difficulty, we're on Chapter 2. The next achievement for me is to fight Captain Blue for the third and final time to get the Back to School 3 achievement. After getting through the sewers, I come across a part where there is a box in the sky. I want to get that. Turns out it is a 1-up. How to get it though? Well, let's slow time and punch an enemy up there to get it to break. This gives me the high up achievement. I successfully managed to get a Rainbow V rank and get the Rainbow Rain achievement. Fight off 2 helicopters giving me the Raining Thunder achievement, and buy the VFX turbocharger in the shop to give me the power up Streaming Service achievement. In part 2, I managed to get a high enough combo to get the Viewtiful Combo achievement, and defeat Hulk Davidson to get the Some Like It Red Hot achievement. The flying portion of this level, I managed to get Juiced Up, Fly Up, and Dogfight achievements for getting an infinite pickup, fighting a 1-up, and defeating a mini-boss. In the core area of the chapter, I find a 1-up, giving me the Swim Up achievement. I unlock the Up, Up, Down, and Around by getting the Slide Attack and Air Joe unlocks during the break period. Lastly, I beat Chapter 3 by defeating the Shark to get the 2 Million Leagues Under the Sea achievement. Another Joe kind of kicked my ass, and I needed a rematch which I easily won, giving me the Beautiful Escape achievement. I then make a purchase which goes towards an achievement I assume in Yukimi. At the start of the chapter, I go to the left and fight a couple of bulked up enemies. I defeat them, making one drop a 1-up for the Heat Up achievement. I then progress towards the end of the chapter to fight 2 mini-bosses, a tank and a jet, defeating them both for the Dog with a Bone achievement. I committed an act of failure by taking too long on the train because I was too stubborn and wanted B points with the combo. It was my own fault. I got through it and bought the 3rd Mach speed level to acquire the power-up Big Mach achievement. I then fight Alistar, which is only somewhat of a nuisance due to me not remembering how to fight him. However, I beat him and get the Midnight Thunder Boy achievement. This whole chapter is basically a boss rush. It's not really that difficult, but when you make mistakes it can be a bit of a challenge, especially when you're trying to get all the VFX reels and don't know where they are. I ended up having to refight at least Hulk Davidson. The fights aren't that big of a deal. They're more powerful versions of themselves. Defeating the main ones gives me the achievement, the Raging Stones. That isn't the only achievement though. There is still one thing to be done. There is a boss for this chapter as well. His name is Fire Leo and it wasn't that bad. Beating him gives me the Magnificent 5 achievement. This chapter is a bit annoying. There is a lot to be done. However, I'll note what I got here. For defeating a Metal Leo, I get the Heavy Metal achievement. Skipping forward to the boss, I get my ass kicked yet again. Sometimes I forget how to do things in this game. Anyway, I beat the Omnipotent King to get the Omnipotent achievement. I finally make it to the last boss of the game, Captain Blue. I mess up a lot and wish I had a boomerang to use. Oh yeah, I forgot that I had those. My bad. Anyway, I defeat him and get the last achievement for this stream, Joe and Sylvia. I do have to go through most of these and collect all the V reels and get at least a total rating of V on all chapters as well, not to mention the higher difficulties, which I do plan on tackling soon.
Daddy, don't be silly. You could have abandoned your ideals and ended up disillusioned and hollow like an empty shell. At least you followed your dream.
I tried to focus on a few things this run, of which was getting all V-Reels, so let me go over how this went. It's not that bad. V-Rated is a pretty fun mode. Like I have said before, I'm quite experienced at the game, so this mode doesn't challenge me as it would Ultra V-Rated. I managed to get the achievement for getting a chapter rating of V or higher as well, for Chapter 1 at least. Next is Chapter 2. In Chapter 2, I am going for both a chapter rating of V and all V-Reels. I get through half the chapter just fine. Then, I'm at the boss? Wait a minute. I didn't get all V-Reels? Yeah, I must have missed it in the second half. Wait, what? Damn, it was in the first half? Oh well, I grab that later. I'll just make sure to grab the V rating for the chapter and continue to the next one. That is everything for this stream, and I can say, I'm enjoying this a lot. I started stream thinking I will try and get all the V-Reels in each stage and go for the V ranking in each chapter. That didn't work out in the end. I soon figured, well, I might as well zoom through V-Raid to get that single achievement. So I did. I didn't think V-Raid was all that hard, but it did give me a bit of a challenge. Getting to Captain Blue at the end was a bit of a pain. Then I gave in and did something cheap against the prior boss. That left Captain Blue, which was giving me a bit of a headache. However, he did go down soon enough. It still wasn't that big of a deal. All I have to make sure to do is know how to counter it. With that done, I started on Adults again to get all the V-Reels in Chapter 2. Unfortunately, I had to speed through Chapter 1 to get there, but that is fine. I still need to max out my health. So I make it to Chapter 2 and get all the V-Reels in Part 1, making sure I end with 12. The one I missed before was behind the fence, and I need to max speed to get it to show up. After that, it was making sure everything in Part 2 was collected. I made sure to be thorough and I managed to get this achievement. Now that leaves the V-Reels and V-Ratings for the rest of the chapters. I aimed to do a short stream and ended up with a longer one. However, I managed to get 6 achievements in this regular stream of mine. So I had to retry a few times to get stage 3 done. The strat was to know how many V-films I need to end the first part of the chapter with. I then save and retry until I get the rest of them. While doing that, I also wanted to make sure that I got decent scores so I can get the V ranking I need as well. Overall, it went pretty smooth, and I couldn't complain too much about it. These aren't the challenge you would think, just a bit of an annoyance. Yeah, I totally beat it. I didn't have much to do this next day, so I booted up Viewtiful Joe in the hopes of getting the V rankings and V reels achievements. It did not disappoint. Getting Magnificent 5 done wasn't as big of a hassle. I, however, had a bit of an issue obtaining the V rank, mostly because I was focused on V-Reels. I ended up getting the V-Reels and then went for the V-Rank, being I had to go through just for that. The final chapter was a bit of an issue in general. Getting to know where all the locations are was a bit rough. I even stopped in between and made sure I didn't miss any. I also tried to get a decent rank on the way. The most painful part so far was just collecting V-Reels and not really the game itself. I managed to collect them all with some effort. The V rank came pretty easily. Thank goodness. Now all that is left is beating the game on Ultra V rated and with every character. Let's rock. I had managed to get through a lot of this game already. It has now come to this, Ultra V rated. Will I make it through easily, or will it be a pain? Usually it would be a hassle. Back in my younger days I struggled, but it's thanks to the power of boomerangs that I completed this easily. So, was it too easy? Not really, but there are small differences from V rated and Ultra V rated in my opinion. You do take more damage, but that is a minor issue considering you negate damage by using slow. The other difference is that there is no visual cue for what attack is coming up. It is all audio and motion of the enemies. This did pose a minor issue. In fact, sometimes I had to take a few slow motion hits to figure out the audio cues. In some cases, with a certain boss, Fire Leo, I had to lose a few lives to understand the audio cues. There also seemed to be some randomness in his moves. I'm thinking that this is unlikely and I messed up on it, but I really don't have a clue. I would say Fire Leo is the hardest boss in the game for me. In any case, bosses were the main issue, which was taken care of by boomerangs. If you want a more in-depth strat, then you'll have to wait. With Ultra V rated done, all that is left is finishing the game with the rest of the characters, getting an achievement for each boss. So, now it's a cakewalk. Or it should be. I started with Sylvia. She has a different story, but aside from that, she is faster and takes twice as much damage as Joe. Getting life with her is helpful. For the most part, it's going to be the same things. To make the runs quicker, I'll be grabbing boomerangs and using them. In the third area, you can damage boost to skip almost the entire chapter as well. This will be used too. With that, not much to be said until I stream again. So I decided to finish the Sylvia run sooner than later, and thought that if I went fast enough, I could get to the others. I wasn't fast enough, so I got to Alistar, but only through Chapter 2. Chapter 1 isn't that bad, and neither is Chapter 2. The characters takes a lot of getting used to be able to play as him properly. Having to push an extra button to control your slow, mach speed, and zoom is pretty bad. You activate your power, and it's permanently on. It's just kind of a headache. However, at least the bosses aren't that difficult on adult. That's one thing I can say. You know, Alistar isn't too bad. I have to do Chapter 3 and using the Z button is going to be a challenge with this one. Oh, huh? Never mind. Plays like normal it seems. That's good. So the majority of Chapter 3 is pretty smooth. Chapter 4 was pretty good up until I had to fight another Joe. He was a pain. That's what you get for skipping the V-reels to get to him early. I wanted to cut time out though. So that was the struggle. Alistar himself is an issue with the mechanics of the game for me. Needing to use an extra button to use your powers sucks. So that is what it came down to. Just a struggle to conserve your power to make sure you have plenty to do everything you want. It's most noticeable that I struggled with this in later chapters, especially in the fight against Fire Leo. You practically need to buy yourself time since you lack a lot of power to restore yourself. You lose your trigger and you take twice as much damage. Needless to say, this battle took a while. The best way to go about this fight is to get mach speed, go to him quickly, hit Leo, go back a bit, damage his shield until it breaks, dodge a bit, wait until he spins, move away again to recover more power, then finally let him come over so you can dodge him and repeat. It's a lot of steps. After that, Chapter 7 wasn't so bad. It still was a bit of a pain, but manageable. Some things are a bit more irritating when you take double damage. That management with the power does suck. I then started on Blue and got back to Chapter 3. Blue isn't so bad, but he doesn't have a double jump. Instead, he jumps really high, and he can glide across if the button is held a second time. With that, I plan to finish it the next time I stream it. I need that master. You'd think the last stretch would be difficult, but you'd be wrong. It's a pretty simple run through the game. Being on adults and just cruising through it was pretty fun. There was little resistance when playing for this. The most difficult challenge was behind me, that being Ultra V rated and Alistar in general. I'm satisfied with the game and I had fun with this one. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, comment, and share. That only leaves one question. What awaits me after this game? Well, what can I say aside from... Wee doggy!